Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. What's up? I'm Dick Mycinko.
Breaking news, I'm Brian Bumpiss.
And I'm Ashton.
Hi, Ashton.
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Dick.
How you
Hi,
guys?
Ashton.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Dick.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Ashton.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Hi, listeners.
Oh, yes, and hi to you as well.
Hi, listeners.
Yeah, I'm good. How have you guys been? Good?
My scrubs arrived.
Yes.
My military scrubs.
shipped
I
them
don't
up.
want those scrubs.
I want these ones.
I don't.
Actually, maybe.
No, I don't.
Well, that's fine. You're not going to have them.
All right.
Because I'm wearing.
You'd have to
Good.
pry them off his cold, dead body.
And I would not be able
Good
to
luck
kill
killing him.
a
Check
man
the body.
like that.
Yeah.
That asshole's still twitching.
Yeah.
The problem is that the inverse of when something shrinks in the wash has happened to this jacket.
Did you shrink in the wash?
Possibly. In transit, I thought that this jacket was far more form-fitting when I was wearing it, when I'm doing war stuff in the jungles.
Yeah.
But it's got here, and it is
Absolutely
is
huge.
a massive jacket.
Well, normally when
Yeah.
you're out on location, as they say in the military,
Yeah.
That is what we say.
when they're on location,
In war,
you have
yeah.
so many like bandoliers and
Yeah,
stuff
so
around
There's a lot
your
of gear under here.
underneath it, so it would
Look
cut
at
Also,
how
out.
like,
pockets I've got as
Normally
well.
you're constantly moving, exercising all the time.
This pocket literally can't be opened without an Ashton on hand
Yeah.
to steady the sleeve.
You're moving all the time, and maybe you've just lost a bit of muscle mass being sat at
Possibly.
a desk. You're
I'm
not built for
atrophying,
it. Yeah.
Desk
Yeah.
job's not good for me.
Yeah.
But apart from that, all good, all well, and excited to be here for another wonderful podcast. We thought Summer Game Fest was done. Surprise!
It's not.
There was
It's
just
not.
the sort of dying gasps. Gasps? That's
Yeah.
not what you said. Dying
Breaths.
gasps?
I think so.
I think it's dying breaths normally.
Last
Last gasp or dying breath. Yeah, you're right.
Of SGF has now come and gone with the Nintendo Direct. We'll be talking about that in the main event of this podcast. But before we get there, I've got an ad read here. Each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep the singular light bulb on in this studio. Lots of Dead Island 2, the spiders around. Well, there were. Can you see? That one's still there.
Fraser said he saw
It's
a
bigger.
massive spider on the door to the juggling room the other
Yes.
day.
Oh,
We
good.
call it the juggling room for reasons that you're not allowed to know, unless you do know, in which
Deep
case,
lore.
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah. You probably, some of you may make the connection if we explained it, but we're not going to.
No,
We're just
Sorry.
going to explain how we're not going to explain.
we have a
it.
juggling
Exactly.
room. That's
It's
the
just
context.
for juggling,
juggling.
and nothing else.
Yeah.
So, I am pleased to be the person to tell you guys. No spoilers now, Ashton.
I wasn't
Reading my
looking.
notes.
I can't read it. It's so
You
tiny.
looked so offended then. You're like,
Whoa,
I'm not
cheating. Working with schools to further science education, particularly biology lessons, Nintendo has announced the brand new Nintendo Dissect.
okay.
Over 40 animals across a 1-hour lesson.
40 animals in one
40
lesson.
animals
That's
across a 1-hour lesson.
Less
they really
than 2
pack
minutes
in.
per animal.
Yeah.
Some people have said it's the best thing that you can do at school. Like out of all the lessons that are available during summer school fest.
kissing behind a bike shed?
Well, that's not part of that's extracurricular.
Said the man with grey hair and a moustache.
Do you want to kiss behind the bike?
No.
No, Brian.
No, I don't. Please.
Nintendo Dissect coming soon to schools.
Just, I don't know if you know all the logistics because it's just an ad read. We don't tell you the logistics. But are they,
I just haven't got them
Is
written
it
down, but I can
40
answer.
happening all at the same time, or are they just like one teacher's just like slicing open a frog, throwing it to the next person,
it's like-
slicing open a squirrel?
Imagine Fruit Ninja, but also the conveyor belt from a sushi restaurant.
Is it 40 different animals?
Who's to say?
Or 40 frogs?
Could be 40 frogs.
Okay.
Just like in the Bible. 40 frogs,
40 frogs.
and 40 bats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were the plagues of Moses.
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 Osmosis.
Osmosis. That's also what you learn.
You do
Nintendo
that as
osmosis.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So Nintendo Dissect, please be excited, kids. They're just going to put little Mario hats on the frogs. That's
yeah.
sort of what it is. But really, it's about the quantity of animals that you get to dissect over the 1-hour lesson.
If they put Cappy on the body of a dead frog, does it come to life?
Yeah,
No,
will
I think
Cappy
you're just-
control it?
You're just even more aware of the inevitability of death.
Because you're so used to putting Cappy on stuff and it coming to life
Yeah.
that if you put it on the dead frog and it doesn't come to life,
The-
you're
Or
like,
the
oh,
second you
wow.
take Cappy off, it's going to die again. And
Cappy
Oh my
dies
God.
if you put him on the dead frog.
It's
Yeah.
more of the absence of life that it kind of draws attention
You
to.
can't
The fact you
absorb any
put
life
Cappy on
source.
and nothing happens. You're like, wow, that
Oh,
thing really
Riv's
is dead.
so dead.
That thing is so dead. Not
Even
even
Cappy
Cappy
can't
can't bring it back.
He's trying his hardest.
yeah.
It's not real,
Oh,
unfortunately.
well,
How-
I'm actually kind of okay.
Did you
with
ever
that.
dissect anything in school?
No.
I don't think I did.
We had like a heart.
Yeah, we did a
or,
heart.
Like,
We
I
didn't do
think
an
we did a
animal.
heart too.
but we
yeah.
didn't do like an animal.
No,
Yeah, like our
That's
parents'
very
generation
American.
did
I
Americans
think.
do
rats
frogs
and
and
frogs
things.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mum did a rat once, and definitely frogs.
My mum did.
My
a rat
mum
once.
did a rat
once.
No, I've not dissected anything. It's not real though. Did I say that already?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not.
Have
It's
you
not
not
real.
dissected a heart?
I have dissected
No.
it. Yes, I
Yeah.
think I have dissected
It
a heart.
stunk.
Yeah.
Did it
I
stink?
can't
Can
really
they smell
remember.
fishy?
The kidney was the
I've sort of blacked out a lot of that memory of school. You know,
Yeah.
it's gone.
There was always, this seemed to happen, like, because I think we did it in 2 different years, and there was always some kid who brought in an ox heart.
Some kids.
You
Some
brought
kid.
in.
Do just
I didn't
get
bring
from
in
home.
anything. They supplied them.
Oh, we provided our own hearts.
Where do you find them?
You just go to the butcher's, and the
Yeah,
butcher
I mean,
has a
to
load
be
of
fair, the
offal.
butchers would have that stuff, but no, we didn't have.
We
No,
were
they-
told to
they
bring
gave
in
them
like
to us.
either a pig's heart or something, or maybe a sheep's heart or something.
Jesus.
And I don't
There's
just mean it
always
was
that one kid.
Always the one kid who
and I
brings in a
don't just
cat.
mean it was the one same kid. I mean, like in different classes, different years. I used to hear that, like, oh yeah, and like this one kid brought in a massive ox heart,
course he
and
did.
that used to happen a lot apparently.
Right.
Crikey.
Brian,
No.
you grew up in a different time.
Different time.
It was a
Brian,
different time.
different
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
No, we're not sponsored by Nintendo Dissect. We are, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. If you go there and support us, you'll get access to asking questions on this podcast, watching worst games early, watching weirdest games early, exclusive access, to episodes of Rules Boss and Main Menu. We recorded a Main Menu the other day. Brian and I did our first one.
did.
Very
It was
exciting.
great.
Did we do all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You'll be able to
in
watch
the grand
that.
scheme of things.
I felt quite sick yesterday evening.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't really know why, but we did
I do.
have a mouthful of main menu during the day, so
Yeah.
could have been that.
That episode
Yeah.
will be out in August, so you can look forward to that then. There's a few places you can find us on the internet. TripleJ.mup, that's our website, triplejU.mp. There you can find links to everything we do, our YouTube, Twitch, Discord. If you want a cameo from us, TripleJumpShop.com. Anyone?
No.
No, not even underneath.
I am
Shirt.
wearing actually the same shirt I wore on the
Good.
podcast last week. So
It's all right.
there we are.
Repping.
It has been washed. There we are. And finally, of course, patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. A few things happening this week, channel wise.
Yes, worst games ever. The Fifth Element.
The fifth
Element. It's a good one. I enjoyed it a lot.
Bruce Willis. he's
Bruce
in it.
Willis is in it.
Yeah.
Lilu Dallas Multipass, that is her full name. She's
Yes.
in it as well.
Jeremy Corbyn's in it.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually is in the episode.
He is, yeah.
We're not joking.
We paid him.
Yeah. So that's coming.
Yeah.
For patrons 2 days early, everyone else on Sunday.
Yeah.
We've also got another episode of Game Changers, which is James Jenkins' series. This one's all about Super Mario 64. I haven't watched it, but I'm sure it's good.
It is good, and it's out right now on the channel. Go and give it a watch. And also, Brian, I believe Peter asked you to put a job list or something.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. I only came in here to take over presenting duties, but he's also got me doing all kinds of
I
things.
mean, you
like,
hired me last time.
well, yeah, but that was just for fun. That was like a prank.
It was.
on
Yeah.
Ben and Peter.
It was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it was a
to
good
be
prank.
honest.
But I've had to do admin, like put a job listing up for freelance video editors. So we're taking on at least 1, possibly 2 video editors. You can now go to triplej.mup and either click on the careers tab, or I think /careers will take you there and apply. And the listing closes on, let me tell you the exact date.
Yep, July.
The 6th. 7th. I
7th.
think, the Sunday the 7th of July, I believe.
2 weeks.
Whatever it says on the website is the correct one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, with that said, shall we jump into the first question?
yes, let's.
Yes, it's from Chris McVeigh, who says, "Hi, Dab." And then it actually says extremely distorted bass boosted noise.
I have to do my own one.
Yeah.
Did it, yeah.
I have to do
Good
my own
though.
one. Thank you.
Paradox Interactive's Life by You, a life sim intended to compete with The Sims, has been cancelled. Aww. The statement from Paradox Deputy CEO...
Aw.
Aww.
Oh, shucks.
The statement from Paradox Deputy Matthias Leela, I think. You think?
Leha?
Leha, possibly.
Not sure.
Leha Dallas Multipass.
Lilia.
Says that the team simply decided the game wasn't up to standards and that no amount of further time spent on development would make them any more confident in it. Why do you think it's proven so hard to go up against The Sims? It's been around for almost 25 years, and I can't think of any game that's really tried to go after it. Are EA doing something right that nobody else can match, or is it simply inertia and brand recognition? Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I don't know, this is a funny one. Like, I think there's definitely something to be said for the inertia and brand recognition of The Sims. It's a huge franchise. Almost everyone has played it in some way, shape, or form at some point in their lives. But I can't imagine that it's that special on a technical level that it can't be done by anyone else, by, you know, a studio of a certain size. I mean, maybe you would have to be a relatively large studio with a big budget. But if, you know, another major publisher, say Activision, tomorrow decided we're going to do a Sims equivalent, I'm pretty sure they could do it. EA don't have some sort of magical Colonel Kentucky's ingredients. That's his name, Colonel Kentucky.
Colonel Kentucky.
Yeah, from the state of Sanders. So I don't think EA are so special and clever that they're the only ones who can do it. I think, you know, if a specific studio such as Paradox Interactive feel like they aren't going to be able to do it justice, although it's very sad to see this project cancelled, because I was very excited for it. I imagine you were,
I was
Ashton.
very excited for it.
I think Peter's wife was very excited for it as well. Not that I know much about her.
Got the ring on.
Well, that's not for her. I'm married to someone else.
Oh, okay.
Mrs. Bumpiss.
Mrs.
Sorry.
Bumpus,
Yes,
yeah. Who looks just like Peter's wife, but has a grey moustache.
And grey
Yeah.
hair.
Of course,
Yeah.
What was I saying? So lots of people are really looking forward to that game. So that is obviously a big shame. But there's kind of something to be said by a studio at least like holding their hands up and saying, look, if we like take this through to delivery, it's going to be really bad. And we honestly think we should cut our losses, not throw good money after bad. You know, there's like a big sunk cost here, and like it could be really bad. It could be worse for them to release a game that so many people are excited for that turns out to be terrible. So sad news, but potentially the correct decision, unfortunately.
I don't know if this has anything to do with The Sims' success. Like, I don't think this is the matter of, oh, they're doing it so well, ours will never match up to that. I think this is a matter of Paradox promising more than they could meet. Like, their whole thing was that, like, you could directly control a lot more of your, like, characters. So you could craft the conversation, you could write dialogue into the game, you could drive your humans in like third person if you wanted to, and there was loads and loads of kind of ways that it was kind of more dedicated to making the game and the world what you wanted, more so than like The Sims allows you to. Part of me wonders if like EA and Maxis and The Sims have like a lot of kind of copyrights or trademarks and stuff and like mechanics of Sims games, which makes it potentially a little bit harder to go up like against them. There have been in the past games that are play similarly that have a decent following, but a lot of them either like take away the aspect of the graphics and the gameplay, like that style, or they lean a little bit more into the look of it, but it plays completely differently to The Sims. We've still got oh no, it's just gone out of my head.
Is it Paralives?
Paralives, yes, thank you.
Oh,
No, it began
yeah.
with a P. Paralives is still coming. That is a team of like a really small team making that
these
game.
two were different projects.
Yeah,
actually.
Life by You and Paralives. And Paralives is a lot more like The Sims, but kind of has a lot more of the things that people really liked from older Sims games brought into it. And Paralives, I'm hopeful that it will be a really good kind of like leg up into The Sims space. However, I don't feel like, and I didn't feel like this with Life by You as well, I don't feel like either of them will compete on the same scale with which The Sims is on, because it's 25 years old. Like you say, everyone's played The Sims at some point. Everyone owns The Sims in some way, and it's just a matter of like giving them more money for expansion packs and stuff. But this is a real shame. Like, I'm really disappointed. However, I also think after the way that City Skylines 2 launched and how that was kind of not very well received from Paradox, I do wonder if they were like, we can't really afford to upset another massive community. I would love to see what this game looks like now and see what elements of it they have now, and whether it would have been something that people would play at the moment, because they, in the statement, they talk about how they were making incremental like stuff and they were focusing more on details rather than the overall picture. So I'm really wondering at what state the game was, because we see like obviously a vertical slice in some of the trailers, but it seemed like the mechanics were working. So I'm just wondering what it is exactly that stopped this game from existing.
Be in total control of the humans that you create, the towns that you build, the stories that you tell, and oh yes, mods. We know life is always better with a heavy sprinkle of your imagination, so we're empowering you with a wide variety of creator tools so you can design your lives the way you see fit, or break the rules of life itself. Designed to be one of the most moddable and open life simulation games, we look forward to the humans, stories, and creations that you'll make with Life by You.
Just sound ambitious.
Get that off the website.
That I did, literally.
yeah.
I went on their website. There's a bit at the top that says it's been cancelled, and then they've left the full thing up. But this is a game that I've not really been following. I've heard about it through you because you've been excited about it.
Yeah.
But life sim games in general are an incredibly complex genre. It must be a very difficult game to design, especially if you're starting from scratch, even if you've got ex-Sims devs involved, which I believe these guys
Yeah, the
did
head
have.
of the game was a big wig on Sims 1.
Right. Even if you've got that, it's still a very difficult genre. And then it sounds like the sort of toolboxes that they wanted to give players access to were really, really wide ranging. It almost sounds like it was practically going to be an almost open source life sim, which then makes it even more tricky to put together. But I went on their YouTube channel just to see how it was sort of looking the last time they checked in, and there was a short from a month ago, and it was something like "Let's color a rug" or something like that, which again just shows, like you were talking about, the kind of granular stuff that they were focusing on.
But that is stuff that people have been asking for The Sims since The Sims 3, because The Sims 3 had that in. Obviously, it wasn't quite as detailed as it was in Life by You, but Paralives also has things like that in it as well, because it wasn't introduced into The Sims 4. It was only in The Sims 3, like the color wheel and the patterns. You could change basically every bit of furniture. Yeah. So that was something that people were really looking for in Sims 4 that obviously has never come to fruition.
Yes.
So I think that's why they were like, look, you can design the rugs, because that's what people wanted from it.
The main thing I took away from it, though, is sort of how kind of rough it looked. The animations of the not Sims sort of stamping around with a really weird walking animation, and the models don't really have any kind of art style to them. They just sort of look quite generic. Whereas Paralives definitely has an art style, and The Sims definitely has an art style. And this is a game that was meant to be entering early access last year. Yeah. I don't know if did it ever go into early access, or did they push it?
It was supposed to. So it got pushed to June this year, and then about a few weeks beforehand, they cancelled the early access, and then apparently went kind of radio silent on the Discord, and then posted this cancellation thing was the next thing that we heard from them.
It's a real shame. It clearly wasn't really coming together, but I do wonder, as you say, like, what could they have put something out and then just had a team that worked on it and said, look, listen, this is a really complex game and we want to do it right, but if we're going to continue, we kind of need to release it now and get your support to continue working on it. As a fan of the genre, would you have done that, or would you
I'd have
not?
definitely given it a go and seen. I mean, I don't know how much I could have helped personally,
but if you had to pay to get into early access, would you have done that?
I'm not sure. I think it would have depended on at what state the game is in. Like if they're releasing like, oh, we've got some of the basic, things that are happening, we just want to like tighten them up. And if the game is inherently playable at the early access level, maybe I would have paid for it. But if we're going with like, so it doesn't work as much as we want it to, but it works a bit, then I probably wouldn't have
done it.
Paid for it.
It's a genuine shame though, because
Yeah.
this Maxis and EA definitely has a stranglehold on the genre. There's no contenders currently. Hopefully Paralives does something, but also it just seems like, as someone who's not a huge fan of The Sims, it seems like all I hear is negativity about the state of The Sims in terms of how it's microtransaction to hell and how it's not particularly welcoming to modding, but it is still possible.
Stuff is removed that was in like previous installments, like, you know, from Sims 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4, some stuff vanishes, or you have to buy it as DLC instead.
Yeah, or they release packs that are broken, or there's entire game mechanics that break other game mechanics, because obviously it's a game that is now going on like 10 years old, I think, Sims 4. Like, it's pretty old now, and we're still releasing content for it, and obviously it's getting updates, but the engine that it's working on is quite old now. So it's, a lot of the most recent packs have definitely felt a lot more like money hungry and like kind of not worth it. From what I gather, I've not bought a Sims expansion pack in a while. I've not been back on my Sims kick for a little bit yet. I'm sure when it happens, I'll spend money again. But I think a few of them have come out and been like, the most egregious example was the wedding pack that they released that basically broke weddings, didn't work even a little bit, and kind of barely added much into the game. And that was kind of the most angry people were with EA, is like, you're releasing this just to get money from us. You don't actually care about the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, fans of the genre deserve better.
Yeah.
And hopefully Paralives does that. But as you said, I don't think it's anything to do with EA or Maxis. I think clearly they were pouring a lot of money into this, and for whatever reason, they decided that it was time to stop pouring money into it, and that they couldn't possibly recoup what they would have to put into it to get it over the finish line.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. You don't like to see that, but hopefully Paralives comes through for fans of that genre.
Fingers crossed. Well, now it's time for a segment that I've just come up with, so I hope you like it.
Okay. All right.
It's called What We Playin.
I hate it.
Oh.
It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Brian Bumpiss. You've updated it this time. It says Brian
Yes,
on there,
I
so I
have.
didn't say the wrong name.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Brian?
I have been I've been really dedicated to my position here this month, which is to replace Peter Austin in every sense.
Right.
So not only have I got as far as purchasing Abzu, the swimming game that I mentioned last week, and I was going to start playing it. But also, I've been watching a lot more YouTube recently in my spare time, which I don't typically do, but I have been. And I got recommended a speed run of the first Spyro the Dragon on PS1.
Do you know what?
He's back on his flip.
He's back on his flip
He's
again.
back on his flip.
One thing you can rely on is that Peter will play Spyro at least once every few months.
I'm sure he's playing it right now, but
Probably
also I
But
thought
Brian as well,
I
yeah.
need to step in and replicate
Play it
that
as well.
correctly.
Yeah.
I watched a speedrun of Spyro the Dragon, and there was a trick that they did in it where I was like, that's the trick that Peter also really needed to be able to pull off properly, to do the full play through the entire game without breathing fire at all. And he couldn't do it properly, and so he had to sort of cheat his way around it a little bit. And I was watching this speedrun, and I was like, that looks like that's not as hard as it should be, right? So I then went upstairs onto Peter's PC and loaded up the game, and within 5 minutes, I was just doing this trick really easily, and I have no idea why me and Peter struggled with it to begin with. So as a result, I then immediately started a whole new game and decided I'm going to do a dummy run all the way through this game, work out whether there's anything else I need to do, and I've now finished it. And I now know I can play that game without breathing fire. And so either me or Peter, probably Peter, because it's probably not going to be in the next couple of weeks, will probably do a stream now where the complete flawless run takes place without any cheating, which is not very exciting. But it has meant that I've not really played anything else this week. But there you go. That's what I've been doing.
Nice.
I'm excited about it. Far more excited than I should have been for doing a trick on a game that is now 26 years old, I think. Yeah.
You ticked it off though. You've done it.
I've done
Yeah.
it.
Conquered it. You're Everest.
Yeah, it's done. Thank goodness. So that's all. Ashton?
I have been playing some Fallout 76 again. I kind of like just to sit and do nothing and meander about Fallout 76. It's been fun. They've added like an entirely new section now since the Xbox showcase. There's like another bit of the map, which is fun. Not been there yet. Feel like I spend a lot of my time in the same area with Fallout 76, kind of just meandering around one bit that I've been to a lot. But hey, that's how open world games are. And also I've played some House Flipper. They added another house in, so I re-downloaded it. I did that house, and then I turned the game off. And House Flipper 2, I should say. And then I was on Steam, and it was like, oh, because you own House Flipper 1 and 2, you can get this other game for cheap, because it would be in a bundle with them, but with like, you can have it for cheap if you want. And I was like, well, who am I to turn down a good offer? So I downloaded a game called The Tenants, which is by the same people who do House Flipper, but it's essentially a little bit more like The Sims. Basically, I wanted to play The Sims, but EA told me I didn't own it, which is a lie, because I do own it.
Interesting.
And I couldn't figure out why it thinks I don't own it, so I gave up because my boyfriend wasn't here to help me, and I was like, I haven't got the patience to deal with this. I'm not playing The Sims. So I found a game called The Tenants, where you play as a landlord, and you have to like remodel houses, and you kind of do like quests for other landlords. You've got tenants, and you can choose whether to like help them with their problems, or just like ignore it, or just like send your uncle in rather than sending out a professional to help.
What have you done?
I've been sending my uncle about a lot.
Cool.
I'm like, if my uncle can do it, my uncle's gonna do it.
I like the idea that that landlords do quests for each other
Yeah,
in real
yeah, yeah.
life. I have a quest for you, traveller.
Yeah, there'll be things like, can you babysit my tenant for like a few weeks? And you're like, yeah, all right. And then you gradually like expand your empire of like houses and stuff. But yeah, I was playing that the other day, and I was having a good time with that. So I played that on the weekend. And also this week on stream, I played the Chinese Room's new horror game,
Oh, yeah. how
Still
is it?
Wakes the Deep. Oh, it's spooky.
Oh, we should have
It's
played it on joint
spooky.
stream.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
but-
leaving it till. I assume we're going to play it on joint stream.
Well, I've played it on stream.
Oh, sorry, on stream you
Yeah,
played it.
I
I
didn't-
thought you said.
I
just at
didn't
home.
know that we were going to stream it on.
Right.
a
Oh,
joint
okay.
We didn't
stream.
discuss it,
It wasn't
to be fair.
discussed.
No, it wasn't discussed. But
Sorry.
that's fine.
Would you play it with us?
I'll play it with you if you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, with
but-
Ben and Peter.
With Ben
later.
and Peter
Yeah.
probably. But yeah, I was.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's
Okay.
really good. I had to panic pause a few times because I was like, something bad's happening. Something bad's happening.
Are there actual physical monsters in it? Or
Yes.
is it, okay, it's not just like a walking sim where there's.
It's a
spooky
bit
stuff
more
going on.
like a bit more like the Alien Isolation game in that like
Okay.
there's enemies that you have to avoid
Right.
and you can't fight them.
It's just like Amnesia.
Yeah, just like Amnesia. You can't fight them. You have to just avoid them. But like for a horror game, it's got quite a lot of color in it, even though it's so dark, and like the mystery of what's happening, the monsters are horrifying. It's actually very, very well done. And they're Scottish and they swear all the time. And
Great. We love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's good. I've enjoyed it. So we can definitely play it on a joint stream.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right. It wasn't discussed, so yeah.
Yeah. That's what I played this week.
Excellent. I bought a book.
Oh,
I was very excited to learn about
Nerd.
Guilty as charged. I was very excited to learn about the existence of this book because it is a Borderlands book. It is a prequel
yes,
to
you told me.
Tales from the Borderlands, and it is written by Anthony Birch, who famously wrote Borderlands 2 and was one of the reasons why that game is so well loved. And his presence has very much been, or his lack of. What am I trying to say? His presence has been missed,
His
notably.
his absence has been noticed.
he's been conspicuous by his absence.
All of those since he went in Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands and everything they've done since, basically. And he has written this book that's, as I said, a prequel to Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale one, not the new one that Gearbox did that's rubbish. It is dreadful.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's crap and I hate it.
Wow.
I'm actually really cross about it because how could you mess it up? It's you're the Borderlands guys. How could you get it so wrong? Anyway, so he did this prequel book, and I haven't started reading it yet, but I just wanted to let Borderlands fans know that this book exists and he wrote it. And I really hope that this means that he might start getting involved in Borderlands stuff again, because it's been a little lacking in the humor and story department. And I think that maybe he could make a difference there if he were to come back. So heads up, Border fans. Can't remember what the book is called, which isn't helpful.
Oh, right, okay.
But it is.
Should I look it up?
It's orange. The book is
Whoa.
orange.
The orange books.
Yeah, and it follows Fiona and
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. That's the one. Yeah, go get it. It's like £10, super cheap. Go grab a book. Apart from that, though, what I've actually played, I played a little bit of RuneScape. I played some Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
I downloaded
In prep
that.
for the DLC.
Well,
Getting
I'm
ready.
still not excited about Shadow from the Erdtree, and it comes out tomorrow at the time of
Yeah.
recording, and I still don't really care. I downloaded it in an effort to sort of at least try and relearn how to play the game, and I had forgotten what most of the buttons are because they don't line up with other Souls games because it has a jump button, so they switched some stuff around. And I mucked about in it for a bit, and I went around the open world, and I found a dungeon I hadn't done. I did the dungeon, and then I closed it, and I thought that was fine. Not really feeling it.
It's very interesting to me that this is how you're feeling about Elden
I
Ring.
know,
'Cause
me
you really
too.
loved it when it came out.
Me too.
And when people love it, they seem to love it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of an
It's
all
kind of
or nothing.
becomes your personality
Yeah.
almost.
I've been
yeah.
doing a lot of soul searching about this.
Souls like searching.
Yes, exactly.
Very good.
Thank you. Very quick. And I don't know if it's because my tastes have rapidly changed, if I am just so tired that I don't want to be challenged in games at the moment, or if I'm just depressed. I don't know which one it
no.
is. It's one of those because it just doesn't bring me any excitement whatsoever. And I don't know why. It's just suddenly like, not feeling it.
Yeah,
not
I've
excited.
been feeling a little bit about like that with
Bit of
games
malaise
recently.
about video
Yeah.
games. But I did end up doing the ridiculous upgrade to the premium edition of Alan Wake in order to play the DLC.
Yeah.
So I have played Night Springs, which is the 3-chapter add-on that they did. They're not very long, and I think there is another DLC that's coming as well that's part of the premium edition, so I will get that as well. But it's really weird and pretty fun as well. There's one where you play as a waitress, apparently because of the weird timeline stuff and what is he writing and what isn't he, all that guff. It may not be the waitress, it's just a waitress who's exactly the same, but maybe from a different version
And
of
waitress.
something. And waitress,
And
exactly.
waitress.
And that's basically just sort of a weird comedic shotgun blasting game where everyone's just, you're obsessed with the writer, who is Alan, but in this, it's the writer. And they're meant to be sort of short stories from the fictional TV show Night Springs.
Right.
Second episode, I'm trying to remember what that is. Oh, that's got not Jessie Faden in from Control.
not her voice?
You play as her, but she's not her from Control.
Right, I see
Again,
what
it's
you
just another story
Right.
where you're just a person who happens to be the exact same
Yeah.
person. It's set in a portion of, all of them are set in portions of the map from the original game, or from Alan Wake 2. And that definitely feels more survival horror-y. That feels more like the game proper. And then there's another one which is just all sorts of genres and very weird. And Alan Wake 2 fans, I had to look up a YouTube video explaining what the hell was going on. Alan Wake 2 fans are losing their minds because of the implications of what this might mean.
Is that the one with the guy from the other game?
All sorts of stuff.
Oh, no, but their
Quantum
game.
Break.
Quantum Break.
Yeah.
I was going to say Limit Break. but I
He is
knew it was
also in
wrong.
Alan Wake 2 as well as a
is he?
sheriff.
Do you know that guy's a twin? Because he's
Really?
an actor who's been in a lot of things, and I only found out recently that him and
It's
his
not always
twin
the same
brother
guy.
are both actors, and sometimes you think it's the other one, but actually it's
was
two guys.
he Iceman in the X-Men, or was that a
Well,
different
I don't
one?
know if that was the brother or
was
if
that
it was
the twin?
him.
I have no idea.
But there's two of them,
Hmm.
and they look exactly the same.
They do.
So
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I did enjoy it. Obviously, £15 is a bit of a steep price for like an hour and 40 minutes of entertainment, or 2 hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
But you do get another DLC later. I'm glad I played them. I thought they were good. It was nice to hop back into Alan Wake 2. Still a very good game. I wish I understood what was going on a little bit more. Sam Lake is really front and center in this DLC as well. He's just in it as himself, and that still sticks in my craw a little bit. I find that a bit hard to pass. Like, Sam, will you just stop it? It's sort of a Kojima-esque thing going on there, where everyone's like, Sam Lake, and I'm like, stop it, Sam, get out of your own game.
It's kind
please.
it's really weird that he does that.
I find it a bit much, but I still enjoy playing the DLC regardless. What else did I play? Remnant 2. I've played that now.
Right.
Did I say I played it last time?
Yeah.
I played more of it.
Okay.
Have a good time?
I am enjoying it, yes. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Although I do find the lack of direction in some of the areas a bit annoying. We got to a gate and it said, find 2 keys. And we were like,
Keys.
okay, where? And there's a few places you can go, but they're not marked. And I know like Souls likes it like that anyway, but we had to look it up in the end, 'cause we were just like, where is it? Is it in this tower? No, this tower is optional. Okay, pointless. Let's move on to the other place. And finally, I played Wonderlands as well. Finally, have you played Lake?
I have.
Okay.
I played it on stream. We had a wonderful time, and then I played the Christmas DLC as well.
Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I downloaded Lake, and that is what, after playing Elden Ring for half an hour, I played Lake all afternoon, just slowly delivering post. What did you play it on?
I played it on my PC.
Okay, it runs awfully on PlayStation.
Does
I'll
it
say that
really?
much. Yeah, like it was really bad. Sort of stuff popping in all over the place. Objectives were breaking, so I had to save and then come back in because it wouldn't let me get back in my car at one point.
Weird.
It was really like it, and it chugs noticeably.
I've heard that about Abzu on PS5. Apparently, that doesn't run
really?
very well. I don't know. I won't know until next week. But
Yeah, I didn't
shame.
have any issues with that on PC or anything.
I would have imagined that I'd have heard that it ran terribly beforehand. But yeah, it doesn't run very well on PlayStation. But I'm having just a great time.
It's nice, isn't
It's
it?
just so brain dead.
Have you romancing any?
Yeah,
Which one?
the video lady.
I've romanced her as
Yeah,
well.
she's great. Yeah, Lake's lovely. It's so simple.
Do you like the music?
Sorry?
Do you like the radio
The
music?
2 stations?
Yeah.
The 2 songs?
Witchcraft, which me and the stream gang love that song.
Okay.
We listened to it after the video, after we finished the game, because it just kept coming on and we'd get really excited whenever it came on.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I did turn the music all the way down to nothing after my second day of listening to Witchcraft and then put music on myself.
That's
I was
fair.
listening to Kill Switch Engage as I delivered
Cool.
some posts.
Nice.
Real different
Yeah,
energy.
completely different energy.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just the space my brain is in at the moment, where I just want either something that I'm
You
playing.
want head empty, deliver post.
I want head empty, deliver post, or social game where I'm chatting with someone
Yeah.
and doing something in the background. I really just can't be challenged right now.
That's basically what I've been playing, is a game where you haven't really got to focus on it. You can watch something else while it's happening.
Yeah.
Or a game where I'm playing with my boyfriend, because I'm like, I don't want to play a game on my own right now.
That's
I
what
want to
I'm
hang
doing
out.
at the moment as well. Like with the FAR games, you just run to the right and occasionally work out a bit of a puzzle, but it's not taxing.
Yeah.
And Abzu as well. I'm like, yeah, that's probably fairly zen and just explore.
I went to
think we're
download
all
the
in
FAR
it.
games, by the
Oh,
way.
did you? Yeah.
They're on, the second one is on Extra. And I was like, why is the first one not on Extra? It's really annoying. So I
Yeah.
haven't touched them yet. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing huge coming out at the moment. And there's nothing on the horizon that I'm really excited
Not really
for.
until August is the next
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so and Elden Ring's not doing it, so I'm going to deliver some post.
Yeah.
I like deciding which way around the lake I'm going to go,
Yeah.
so I can pick up the quest objective on the way back,
Yeah.
because the quest objective is really annoying because you can't deliver post while you're holding something in your hand, even though you've got a van. There's
Yeah.
a spare seat and everything.
Just
Anyway,
like Pat.
Yeah.
just like Pat.
Also, there is one other thing.
Yeah.
I finished the Fallout TV show this week.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I finally finished it.
What did you think?
I really enjoyed it,
It's
actually.
good, isn't it?
Yeah, the end was really, I felt like it really kind of summed itself up, and it was really nice. And I think they did a great job with it, to be fair.
I forgot about that.
Very pleasantly
We've
surprised.
been
by
kind
the
of
Fallout show.
keep forgetting we hadn't finished it, and we're like, oh my god, we've still got 3 episodes left. So we binge watched them over the weekend.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, it's time now for question 2. Comes from Rock Reese. Hi, Dab. I love the settings and history of Assassin's Creed, and Japan is long overdue. But Ubisoft haven't made a different feeling 3D game in a very long time. Everyone was excited, or at least interested, in Valhalla until they played it. The curious thing to me is that everyone knew how it was going to play, but was still hopeful. I see this pattern continuing with Shadow and Star Wars Outlaws. The exact same thing. Looks nice and interesting, plays like all Ubisoft games. My question is, do you think we all have Stockholm Syndrome with Ubisoft? And are there any devs you all have this with?
Thanks, Rock Grace.
Thank you.
I think it's most noticeable I don't normally go first, but
That's fine.
with the Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora, I think that game was the most egregiously like reskinned Far Cry game from them, and I was like, why?
Yeah, because they had the opportunity there to do something new.
Really cool. I know that they have like, you know, you can fly on the back of whatever those weird birds are called, and like you are a Navi, but it just looked so Far Cry. It felt like a real missed opportunity. Like you're still going to camps and like clearing out human soldiers with a machine gun.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel noticeably different. And I was really excited for it when they teased it, but then I saw the gameplay and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, homie.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's kind of how I felt about this question in general, is that, yeah, we all know generally what Assassin's Creed games are going to play like, and we just go in and sort of expect that, and we may or may not be disappointed when it turns out that that is exactly how it plays again this time. But you can kind of see why, like, Ubisoft continue to use that format in Assassin's Creed and continue to do the same thing in Far Cry, in the sense that they're like, well, why fix what ain't broke? Yeah.
Fix it.
But you're going to buy it anyway, you mug.
Exactly, yeah. And that's not to say that they couldn't actually just reinvent stuff and do some more interesting mechanics and, you know, really try and like improve things going forward. But, you know, I can see why they don't. But as you say, with something like Avatar, they could have done that however they wanted, and they chose to just make Far Cry. And it may well be that Outlaws is sort of just Assassin's Creed, or some other Ubi World equivalent. So I think, I suppose it is a bit like Stockholm Syndrome, because we do continue to play these games and then complain about them when they turn out to be exactly what we expected them to be. So in that sense, yeah, we're clearly just along for the ride and going to grumble while we're there. But there must be something about them that we do genuinely continue to enjoy. Otherwise, the series would just fade and die, like many, many other series have done in the past when they've gone a step too far and people just don't like it anymore. So I think it's a bit of both.
I think that, like, from my perspective, I feel like I give Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt a lot, and I don't know why I keep doing it. Like, Stockholm Syndrome isn't real, but if it was real, then I guess maybe that is kind of what we're going for. But like, yeah, I don't know why Ubisoft keep getting away with it. I think potentially it's because they've got some games in their past that people really, really loved, and some Assassin's Creed games are looked on so fondly that I think everyone has that like little glimmer of hope that like this one will be different.
Yeah.
I can fix him. This one will be different. And I think that like I hope that Star Wars Outlaws is something different from them. I think it's about time we see something different from Ubisoft, because obviously, I mean, we've got Skull and Bones is outside of Ubisoft's usual comfort zone, and is also not very good, apparently, according to most people who played it. Yeah. And then you've also got Prince of Persia, which again is outside of their regular comfort zone, but hasn't necessarily sold super well. There's a hair, not leave my mouth. Go away.
Get out.
Get out. But yeah, so I do think it's about time we see something different from them. However, I know myself, and I know I'm going to look at the next Assassin's Creed game and I'll be like, fingers crossed, this one will be what we want and it will be back to how we like it. I mean, Mirage obviously took us back a little bit to how Assassin's Creed games used to be, a much smaller city and a much more kind of confined story, which I liked. However, it wasn't very good. It was a bit bland and boring. Valhalla was too big in literally every way. But I do hope that this one will meet in the middle between the two of them and will be a decent size, have an interesting story. The gameplay they've showed already looks a little bit away from the Assassin's Creed we've seen recently, and it does look really interesting. And I like that you've got the aspect of, if you liked how we played when we were a Viking and you want to swing a sword, you can do that as the samurai guy. If you liked how being an assassin and being sneaky, you can do that as the ninja lady. Like, I like that we've been given the option of like how we play certain things. But I I don't know why we always forgive Ubisoft. Or not forgive them, but they've never done anything super, super bad where it's like, oh man, I don't trust them. The games are always like, yeah, it was okay. And people will still buy them.
I guess with Valhalla, like the main issue with that certainly I had, and I think perhaps all three of us, was just that it was too big. Like if you put that aside, and if it was just the exact same game but smaller, I think that really would have been like a huge hitter for them. So it's not that like they're always releasing something that is in many, many ways unimpressive or average or bland. It's sometimes the only thing they do wrong is just make them too big.
Yeah.
So
they're never terrible games. They're just they've not quite hit the mark in a while. And if you're someone who can forgive them because you like to play Assassin's Creed games, you like the historical context, then you will continue to kind of play their games. They haven't had any massive stinkers in a little bit, so
I heard someone recently describe Ubisoft as an entity that's really good at borrowing from lots of games things that people enjoy and then just sort of mashing it all together in a sort of, hey, you like this dozen things that you do in these various games, but we put a Star Wars sticker on it, or an Avatar sticker on it, or an Assassin's Creed sticker on it. As you said, they do have studios that can make stuff that isn't what they have been doing for the last decade and a half, but that's not where the money is. So increasingly, we just see this from them. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if this similar kind of DNA or just precisely the same gameplay structure shows up in Outlaws or Shadows. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest. That doesn't mean that those games, as you said, are going to be bad. It just means that almost certainly there'll be something you do in Outlaws that makes you, maybe within the first hour, where you think,
climb a tower and
it's definitely made by Ubisoft, isn't it?
It'll happen like after like chapter 2, they'll suddenly introduce this like, oh, you know all these places you've already been on your map, now there's all these camps have appeared on them and you can go and do 80 camps.
Go clear out all the camps. Checklists. And some people love the checklists.
And I'm gonna clear out every camp. I'm gonna do it.
I'll feel the same compulsion, but then when I don't do it, I feel like I'm getting less value for money, or that I'm missing out on part of the experience, and that in and of itself kind of detracts from my enjoyment of the game for different reasons. I don't know necessarily that there is another developer that I share a similar feeling about, where we talk about Ubi Worlds and Ubi games all the time because they are largely sharing in a lot of the same mechanics, but
largely being the operative word.
Exactly.
Very good, Brian.
But other developers, I can't really think of any. I suppose like you could say that about From Software, but that's kind of the point, is that their games share the same DNA because it's just a genre. Ubi game is not a genre, although maybe it should be, but it is one associated with middling quality.
Rockstar have very much shared DNA across GTA and Red Dead. I mean, they don't really make anything else at the moment other than those two series, but Bully as well was basically just GTA and Red Dead, but that's not necessarily a negative thing, other than again Red Dead Redemption 2 being a bit too big for certain people. But generally they do it in a good way. It's like, oh, it's more of the same, we know you like it.
Not to bring them up again, but Maxis, I do feel like have like the entire live sim fan base in a bit of a chokehold, and you will like the games you will like the expansion packs, and you will buy them.
Because you have nothing else.
Because you have nothing else. And if you don't buy them, we're going to introduce a gameplay mechanic that you can't do anything with.
And no, you're not having a sequel. Buy more packs.
Yeah. Not anytime soon, anyway.
Well, I don't mean never, but yeah.
What do you reckon?
They've teased the next one. But...
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did a Sims showcase last year, and I can't remember what it's called. It's like Project. It's not Unicorn, but it's something similar to that. And it's the next one.
How small do you reckon guess the smallest percentage that you think it could be that you'd be able to carry your packs over to the next Sims game? How low do you reckon the likelihood is?
Absolutely 0%.
0%.
Yeah.
Not even a single chance in hell.
So after you spent £6,000,
I think it was, before they released the last set of packs, I think it was standing at about £600.
That's obscene.
And
so
then there's
you
been
bought
about 6
all
or
the
7
packs,
since then.
and you've supported it all the way through. And what do you get for it?
You buy them again.
Nothing.
Back to zero.
Do it again. They'll release the next Sims, and it'll be a free-to-play model, and it'll be even
all
worse.
Packs,
All
available
packs,
day
all
one.
the time. You'll have boy haircut and girl haircut, and that'll be it. 2 haircuts.
2 t-shirts, 1 dress.
Yeah, and one of them says The Sims on it.
Yeah, I was going to say one of them has a logo on it.
It's got the plumb bob on it, and that's it.
And you'll be able to buy ones that have, Monster Energy on them and an advert for the boys, like in that UFC game where people got cross about that. Pizza Hut. Actually, I would wear the Pizza Hut shirt, to be fair. I think that's pretty cool. I'm sure those games will be good. They'll just be of Ubisoft quality. And I think that Ubisoft are unique in that, in being in that place where people will go, it's an Ubisoft game.
Yeah. I knew it would be like this.
And you'll know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Your mileage will vary, but it may well be that the licenses and the strength of those licenses will probably do a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, normally, if this was Avatar themed, I wouldn't be interested. But if it's Star Wars themed, then maybe I'm more interested.
That's the thing. I don't tend to pick up the new Assassin's Creed games generally. Depends where they're set. I'm more about the setting than anything else. But slap Star Wars on it, and obviously I'm just going to buy it because I'm a nerd like that. Yeah. So that's one way for them to sell to different people, I guess.
Well, there's definitely a case to be made for series fatigue in Assassin's Creed, or at least there certainly has been in the past. Their main strength is the fact that they can make these. Well, they go to a different location every time.
A different time, a different location.
That is the thing that's so appealing. But that is by far the best thing that they do, is realizing that time period. And that is what keeps that series appealing, even if you're kind of doing the same bloody thing.
Well, this is the thing. I think Assassin's Creed would have died a long time ago
if it was all set in Italy.
Well, yes, but also I think if they didn't have the weight of the original Assassin's Creed games and like a few standouts, I think like a lot of it is supported by, well, you really, really liked Brotherhood and you really, really liked Assassin's Creed 2 and you really, really liked Black Flag, so you might really, really like this one too. I think like it's kind of, they rely a lot on the Assassin's Creed name, and I think that they're lucky they get away with it. Any other series of like similar quality that they've had would probably have died a death by now.
Yeah, the one good thing about the fact that
unless you're Call of Duty.
True, yeah. The one good thing about the fact that they are just constantly putting a new one out is that if you do generally like the gameplay and the idea, you can just pick and choose. Like, I'm really interested in ancient Greeks, feudal Japan, and pirates. I don't really care so much about the French Revolution or whatever. Just jump in and out. It really doesn't matter whether you do that, whether you play them all or not. I'm looking forward to the Witchy one. I'm not so bothered about the upcoming one. So that's a strength of the series.
It's just a mental place that we're in where if you'd have described Valhalla or Black Flag to me when I was 12, I would have thought it was the greatest thing ever. If I was able to go into that game blind to the world of other Assassin's Creed games or even the wider industry, and there were parts that I didn't even touch on, people at school saying, you can like upgrade your ship, and if you go to this island, you can find this and stuff like that. It would have been amazing just to inhabit that world. The amount of stuff that you can do would have felt so appealing. But in practice, it's like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
You've put too much in here, and it's crazy to it feels mental to complain about that.
It's like someone putting a whole chocolate cake on your plate rather than a
it's
slice.
Like, in theory, this is fantastic, but I don't want all this. And I hate that I don't want all this because I should, but I don't. So please take it away and sell it to me as DLC. Wonderful. Well, shall we move on to something a little strange?
Yeah, and it's right up in Brian's wheelhouse.
It's news and it's weird. It's weird news.
It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you want to submit some weird video game news to us, you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Tuesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier and become a podcast producer just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen,
Andy Scott,
Blake Thomas,
Kyle Gary,
Eric Siu,
Shaman Nomo,
Great Giggity,
Melody Elbonet,
Katie Garrett,
Hugh Jas,
Gabrielle Philippe,
and big money Bobby Vegas.
Dick threw me off.
Wah, 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 wah.
Dick threw me off.
Classic Dick.
Shut up.
Peter. Oh, who? Oh, you didn't update it on here, Ashton.
It says Peter.
Brian.
Yeah?
What news have you got?
I have to do so much changing of names.
I've got some news
You shouldn't have won then.
got some news that bloody loads of people sent to us.
Go on.
Go on.
All right, I
Go on,
will.
then.
Go on,
I'm
then.
doing it.
Come on,
Dare
then.
ya?
It was sent by James Matthews,
No relation.
top fan. Ryan Swartz, no relation,
Top fan.
Lloyd Williams on Twitter at LloydW90,
Top
fan.
top Twitterer, top Xer, and Johnny Mac at JohnnyMac13 on Twitter.
Some
Top
relation.
fan.
Yes.
Top fan.
Incidentally, Ryan Swartz didn't specifically submit this story, but as a reply to James Matthews, no relation, submitting submitting this story, they said, "Oh, I was going to send this one, but I've been in meetings all day."
So
and
you've
you
given
gave
them
him
a
a
I
shout
thought I'd
out
give him a special
anyway.
shout out.
Aw.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
This is for
fan.
you, top fan. Kotaku.com, written by Zach Zweisen, Oswiesen.
Top fan.
Top
fan. No relation.
Top Gear. Woman caught smuggling 350 Nintendo Switch games in her bra.
What?
Gosh, that sounds uncomfortable.
It
It
does.
does.
Doesn't it?
They don't taste
Bras
good either.
already are uncomfortable, let alone having 300 Switch cartridges in it.
Yeah. The video games were confiscated and estimated to be worth around $9,660.
Goodness me.
Approximately.
So I'm
Switch
sure
games
you'll
never
tell
go
us,
on
but
sale,
was she
so-
stealing them? Or
Yeah, how do you smuggle? Are they illegal
did she
in
take
some
them all
countries?
out? Did no one see her take 350 Switch games out of the boxes and put them in her bra?
She's just doing it one
I'll
by
let you
one.
know.
Okay, yes,
Okay,
please.
sorry.
Wow, what an interesting opening sentence from Zach.
I thought you were
yeah, I thought that was the
It's
start of
like,
the
what's
article.
happening here?
A nervous woman with a large bust size was
Zach!
was stopped at an airport in China after officials grew suspicious. They inspected her and discovered she was allegedly trying to smuggle 350 Nintendo Switch carts out of the country by stuffing them into her bra. As spotted by Tom's Hardware on June the 14th and reported by Yahoo! A woman trying to leave Hong Kong and enter China via the Liantang port was stopped by customs officers after they noticed she was acting strange, seemed nervous, and had oddly shaped breasts during a routine inspection of
Can't
travelers.
say that. That's not polite.
Zach can. She was taken to a private area, and officials reportedly found she was trying to smuggle over 300 Switch cartridges in her brassiere, likely explaining her odd behavior and the strange shape of her bust.
Oh.
Get past it, Zach. It's fine. Officials confiscated 350 Nintendo Switch carts from the woman's bra. It's estimated they are worth $9,660, 70,000 yuan.
Good. The most important thing we have to remember here,
It's
she
her
had
boobs
wonky
look weird.
boobs.
China is a nation in the Eastern Hemisphere. In China, Article 7 of the regulations on the implementation of customs administrative punishments of the People's Republic of China
Jesus, that's a catchy title, isn't it?
prohibits people from evading customs by hiding, disguising, concealing. Yeah, we know what smuggling is. I want to know about Switch cartridges.
Yeah, why-
Back in the
why
day,
did she have to
pirates used
smuggle
put them
300?
Right,
in
here we go.
caves.
As pointed out by Tom's Hardware, assuming the Switch carts aren't considered restricted by China, the woman was suspected of smuggling games in her bra is unlikely to see jail time. Instead, she could be fined not more than 3 times the amount of duties payable, but evaded. So I think it's to do with the fact that China obviously does have like some pretty strong restrictions on media.
Yeah.
So it might
I
be
think
that,
she was bringing in
well, because she was coming from Hong Kong, so
Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
They hate Cappy in China.
they don't like that because he can bring dead frogs to life.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
So no, he can't. That's true.
Can't do that.
So I suspect what she was doing was bringing into China various games that a lot of Chinese gamers really want to get their hands on, but they
Right.
can't. So she's bringing them from
You
Hong
know
Kong
what else
to
gamers
flog
want to get their hands on?
Wonky
oddly
boobs.
shaped breasts.
Yeah.
Her weird bust.
Get over it, Zach.
You could say that was the biggest bust of the century by Chinese customs.
Oh, so good.
Mm.
I have some weird news, if that's okay with you.
Yes,
Yeah,
please,
that's
go
great.
It comes from Mr. Mysterious at Evil CSLD on Twitter, and also James Matthews, no relation.
Oh.
From Kotaku by John Walker.
Top fan.
The number 3 game on Steam is just a picture of a banana. Over 400,000 people are clicking on a picture of a banana, even though they'll die one day.
Good.
Clicker games are inherently stupid, and the best ones lean in. That's why Cookie Clicker is an all-time classic. Years of increasingly idiotic ideas piling on top of one another, but always boiling down to the core concept of clicking on a picture of a cookie. Well, Banana reduces this down to its titrated purest form. It's a free game about clicking on a picture of a banana for no discernible reward, and it's taking over Steam. It's important to emphasise just how ridiculous Banana truly is. You're likely thinking that there's more to it, that there are surprise twists and turns, all the usual gimmicks and features of a breakout clicker game. Please, I implore you, put these hopes and dreams aside. This is a game about clicking on a static JPEG of a banana while a crude Arial font number counter ticks up. That's it. It doesn't even remember your clicks when you load it back up. And right now, as I type, it has 400,000 people playing it.
Why?
Why?
The game, such as it is,
I'm cross.
originally launched in April and no one noticed. By mid-May, a few people started paying attention. But in the last week, that number has shot up to see Banana hitting highs on the Steam charts, sitting high on the Steam charts, and seemingly only going up. And this implausible success is leading to conspiratorial claims and furious Steam reviews decrying its cynical attempts to clutch petticoat, make money.
What does that mean?
I'm sure it's normally clutch pearls. I don't think it's clutch petticoat.
Oh, I see. Clutch.
Like, gosh.
Their attempts to, comma, or asterisk, clutch petticoat.
Gasp.
Yeah.
Make money. I thought it was...
It's in
attempts
it's in
to
square
clutch petticoat.
brackets. It's in square brackets.
Right,
I wasn't
yeah.
sure how to read it because clutch petticoat isn't a sentence I've
But
ever
yeah,
seen
it is
before.
clutch pearls, isn't it?
Yeah. Every 3 and 18 hours, if you've got the game running and you've clicked at least once, Banana will drop a picture of a banana into your Steam inventory. Every 3 hours, you get a common banana, and every 18 hours, you get an allegedly rare banana.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Then, if you can be bothered, you can buy and sell these items via Steam's community market. There's also a rotating supply of 5 different bananas you can buy from the banana item store for 25 cents each. So because gamers, there's a roaring trade going on Steam and a lively community developing on its Discord, and that's making people mad, including Brian.
Yeah. Well, I'm less mad now that I understand there's at least some sort of reason.
Right. It's understandable that some are drawing associations with the miserable NFT pyramid scheme we saw come and go over the last few years, given both are ways of exchanging worthless images. However, it's important to note that it is not. Banana isn't burning down rainforests to log its JPEGs on a blockchain, nor taking part in a pump and dump that'll leave its marks having spent upwards of millions on literally nothing. It's just an asset flip on Steam that makes a good chunk of profit off of people goofing around selling their banana images for 3 cents a time. It's dumb, unquestionably enormously dumb. And yes, the developers behind it are making money, given they get a slice every time there's a sale on the community market. Those cents add up, and there's a decent chance they're making a few $1,000s a day while the game grips onto the zeitgeist. But to break out one of the great philosophical arguments of our time, I'm bored now.
So I did hear this. Some people were selling their bananas for loads and loads of money, and that's why it's so popular. Is
Yeah.
because people just want to
Yeah.
make money on
money.
Maybe they'll get a rare banana picture, you know?
It's odd to see people leaving livid reviews at how this is conning people into thinking they're going to be able to make money selling their items, despite the game making no such claim and, being free. The reality is, it's just stupid. It's a stupid, boring, non-game taking advantage of the stupidity of communities swapping stupid JPEGs. And, at some level, it's 400,000 people clicking on a picture of a banana.
Yeah.
So there we are.
If it didn't give you those items, that would be the closest we've ever come to allowing a 0 review score on like worst games ever. We always say, don't we? If it's got a menu, if it's not a block of wood, it's not a 0. But if it is just a JPEG of a banana, I mean, if it has a counter as well, that's more than a 0. That's a 0.1.
Yeah, well, there we are.
I've got some weird news.
Do you?
It comes courtesy of Jonathan Wong on Facebook.
Top fan.
No
relation.
No relation. And Gex at SnowyBoyYanio4 on Twitter. This is a Nintendo Life article from Ollie Reynolds. Random.
No relation.
No relation.
Welp. Now Nintendo's going after sheet music.
Gosh, isn't that
Oh,
fun?
no.
It should come as no surprise that Nintendo is pretty protective regarding its IP. Going after emulators,
maniacs.
ROM hacks, and reproductions is one thing, but it looks like the firm is starting to aim its sights on something rather surprising: sheet music.
Nothing surprises me now.
According to you said Nintendo, so you get sued. I'm afraid that's how it works.
No.
According to 2 separate community posts on YouTube, it seems like Nintendo is looking to take down fan-arranged sheet music based on its franchises. The first is via the popular channel Sheet Music Boss, which states, in a classic Nintendo move, they've DMCA'd all of our correctly licensed sheet music before expressing frustration towards the situation. I can read the full statement.
So if they've
like.
composed it themselves, if they've just like...
Well, they've not composed it, but they've deconstructed it and worked out the composition. Their own.
That's what I mean, but
yeah.
they've done that
It's
themselves.
their work, yeah. They're not republishing an official Nintendo
Right.
composition.
And it's licensed,
Nintendo
apparently.
make me so mad with this. They are megalomaniacal maniacs and they need to be stopped.
This doesn't benefit the original. This is the people who are DMCA'd.
Yeah.
This doesn't benefit the original artists. They receive royalties for our arrangements that they now won't get. This doesn't benefit us because it makes us less likely to make music that we love. And it's frustrating for you all because you can't play our arrangements that we put hours into. We're working on it, but it's super frustrating, especially given that so many Nintendo pieces aren't available anywhere as sheets. Sorry to everyone affected, and please know it's totally out of our control. The second is from Purple Scala, maybe, a pianist who has amassed a following of nearly 30,000. In a similar post, she confirms that her sheet music hosted via Music Notes has been taken down by Nintendo, including the arrangements for Fire Emblem and Xenoblade Chronicles. And then there's a post there from Purple Scala. Nintendo has been pretty vigilant when it comes to targeting channels hosting official soundtracks, blah, blah, blah.
Vigilance one
We
word.
reached out to Music Notes for comment on the matter, but it seems like individuals who wish to upload their own Nintendo arrangements on the site may want to think twice about doing so. What do you make of these latest moves from Nintendo?
I think
Do you
it's
think it's
mania-
warranted? Let us know
mental.
your thoughts
No.
with a comment. Do you want to hear what someone said?
Would love to.
Nintendo is a company protecting its IP. I don't know why people are still surprised / complaining about this.
Because it doesn't affect them. I don't know why they do this. It just makes them look like dicks. Dicks.
At some point, even the most ardent, unapologetic defenders of everything this multi-billion-dollar corporation does have to realize enough is enough. This is going too far, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they do that. We've got into it before, so we won't get into it now. But like, I just feel like all they ever do is just like release games, and be like, "Oh, we're such a good company, so nice. Don't touch anything that is ours.
it's like
we
a-
will rip your hands off. We will chop your hands off like a little thief that you are for touching
Dirty,
our music.
dirty
Dirty little
thiefses.
thief, street rat. How dare you?"
Give us $60,
Here's an-
dirty, filthy vermin, rodent. This
Give
sort
me
of-
every penny you make for the rest of your life.
It's a Dr. Jekyll and
Yes.
Mr. Hyde situation where they're like, hey, now it's time for a new adventure from the Mario Brothers.
I imagine.
Don't you touch our stuff, I'll kill you.
It's Gollum and Smeagol, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Smeagol gives you Mario.
I like
and
to
then
imagine
it's
that in Nintendo
filthy hobbitses.
towers, like you can hit like the ground, like 5 floors are so colourful. It's like, here's how we make our games. With like Mario's all around.
It's Charles
And then you
Martin,
get
he's a
up to,
global
like,
ambassador. Don't take a photo of him, though.
you get up to floor 9 and it's just
It goes
black,
greyer and greyer.
and there's just men typing away
Yeah.
like in complete silence in all black, like they all look like the same guy.
There's fax machines. There's
Yeah.
someone in the corner going beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
beep,
yeah,
And
beep,
on the
beep,
very
beep, beep.
top floor, the lift doors don't even open because there's so much money up there.
It's just a dragon.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
In the
really
basement is where the
stupid.
dungeons are. The copyright dungeons.
That's where they keep the guy who's
That
working
guy,
off
yeah,
his debt for the
Bowser.
rest of his life.
Gary Bowser.
Yeah.
Awful. It's time for the big discussion, everyone.
Yes.
It's big discussion time. Time for the big video game discussion that comes this week, courtesy, good Brian, of
Get my notes out.
Connor Bennett.
This is
Get
work
your
related.
notes out. Hey, dabbers.
Whoa.
I thought I'd help you this time.
Thank you. Summer Games Fest game.
Single.
Summer Games is
One.
best.
Summer
Game.
Games Fest never ends, with Nintendo's Direct taking place on Tuesday. How was it? Did anything in particular catch your eye? Or is it just Show Me Switch 2? Yours faithfully, Conor. Thank you, Con. We've got a run-through of everything that was shown here by Polygon. We'll go one at a time, just like we did last week. Starting things off with Mario and Luigi Brothership.
I wanted them to call this Brother Glover. But
Brother Glover.
because at the beginning they touched each other's gloves,
Right.
and then they was like swing, and I thought Brother Glover's a really funny name.
Also, shouldn't it be Brotherhood?
No, because they're on a boat.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
it's a bit like Mothership, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Brothership.
yeah.
And
They're
there's
on
a
a
ship,
ship.
and they're brothers.
I don't like
But
it.
it should be not be shit.
No, it
Brothership
shouldn't be
is not.
brothership.
That's not a word.
It does sound like shipping, like they're going to kiss on
Yeah,
the boat.
yeah, yeah.
What
okay.
if we kissed
Brother
on the
Glover.
brothership? Yeah.
Glover Brothers.
Mario and Luigi are bouncing around in Nintendo's latest game in the Mario and Luigi
They
franchise.
look like the RPG.
The first in almost 10 years. Mario and Luigi Brothership will be released on Nintendo Switch on the 7th of November. Yes, this is like an RPG kind of thing.
It plays like Super Mario RPG.
Looks cool. I
Yeah.
like the look of that.
I wasn't really interested.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not for me. Most Nintendo first party stuff isn't for me, but I saw people. It shows how out of touch I am with Mario and Luigi, because although I could tell the art style was different to your classic Mario 3D games, people on Twitter seem to be going kind of wild about how different this was to other Mario stuff. Not necessarily in a bad way, but they were like, "Wow, it's so. Oh, they've really like experimented here, haven't they?" And I was like, have they? It looks a bit different, and that's it. And obviously, it's a slightly different gameplay concept as well, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem that out of the box to me.
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
Who wants to read the next one?
Brian.
Okay, Nintendo World Championships NES edition or NES edition. It's all about speedrunning and challenges. There are also modes that put you head to head with other players in an attempt to be the last one standing as you make your way through the challenges. It's here on July the 18th. So it's just a bunch of sort of classic NES games that you can
Play against
no
other
one says
people.
NES games that you can play competitively.
They added lots of stuff for people who wanted race ghosts and things. Lots of options for
Yeah.
speed running and challenges and stuff. So
It's a
that
nice idea.
yeah, it's got lots of options for people.
Fairy Tale 2, and that's tail with an I, not tail with an E. Koei Tecmo America's Fairy Tale 2 is a take on the anime Fairy Tale. In a real-time strategy game, you'll take on enemies in collaborative battles. It's coming this winter, Nintendo said.
There's a lot of Japanese sort of rubbish,
This is the first of several
Many.
that I can't
There's a lot
tell
of-
the difference between.
and I know that
Yes.
each of these franchises has really, really excitable fans, and I'm thrilled for you. But there was a lot of nonsense.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I refreshed my memory this morning as to what all these were, and if I didn't have a picture in front of me of what some of these are, I still can't tell you the difference by name, unfortunately. So,
Well, how about Fantasian Neo Dimension? This is from
Yeah.
Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi. Fantasian Neo Dimension is a turn-based role-playing game where you're taking on an evil guy, thanks Polygon, that wants to destroy all mankind, according to Nintendo. The interdimensional game launches on Nintendo Switch this holiday. Now, I'll tell you one thing I do really like about it is that the backgrounds are real photos of like miniature sets. That looks really nice.
Oh, yeah.
this did look very Final Fantasy. You can see that there is that
Influence.
DNA there. Yeah.
One thing I wasn't such a big fan of, though, is that although they have the lovely backgrounds that are real miniature settings, when they were having the battle, I think they were facing against some wolves or something, but the wolves were stood in front of / on top of one of the bushes. And I was like, oh man, kind of ruins the effect a bit. I wonder how hard it would have been to just have a couple of layers, especially
Yeah.
stuff that characters are going to be walking past so that the bush is in front of them or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did like that. I liked how that looked. That was a cool aesthetic.
Yeah. Nintendo Switch Sports Basketball is coming to Spocko Square.
Spoko. He said Spoko. I've never heard it pronounced before.
Oh, I knew it was called
I always thought it was
Square.
Spoko.
I did. I
Square.
must have missed that or forgotten.
Spoko.
Spoko.
Where up to 4 players can team up locally and online to shoot some hoops. It'll come to Nintendo Switch
Kobe.
this summer. Kobe.
Next, we had Mio, Memories in Orbit, and this one did look really good. It's a pretty watercolored world, and we haven't seen much from it, but it's coming in 2025. But it looked really nice, so I'm hopeful.
Disney Illusion Island. A new mystery update is coming to Disney Illusion Island, and it's launching on Nintendo Switch. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Sounds like someone just fell down
I
the
think
stairs.
they're carrying chairs upstairs.
Are they carrying or are they dragging them up the stairs? Good
People are
Lord.
moving in upstairs right now, I think.
This is going to be not them moving in, but them clunking about up there is going to be a fixture of the podcast.
Yeah.
For a while,
isn't it?
I think.
Can't wait.
And this might now not stop for the remainder of the podcast.
Jesus.
There's a very good chance that this is just happening now.
I hope that's picking up on the microphone because that is so
It's
loud.
so loud.
Yes, so that is out now. That update for Disney Illusion Island.
Yeah. I've not been aware of this game, but it's kind of an interesting art style, isn't it?
Disney Illusion Island. Oh yeah, it came out at the end of last year, I think. People liked it.
There was also, from one island to another, Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Come on!
Originally available only on mobile, it's now coming to the Switch and PlayStation and Xbox consoles. It's a timed exclusive, though, meaning Nintendo players will get the super cute Animal Crossing's New Horizon-like game first. Ashton, is this one for you?
Not really.
No.
Not interested.
No.
I heard an interesting thing about this, and I don't know if there's any truth to it. Do you remember the South Park episode they did about World of Warcraft?
No.
Yes.
Where most of it was in World. You remember it, don't you, Brian?
I do.
Okay.
I've not actually seen it all, but I've seen bits of it.
Right. I enjoy that episode very much. It's a fan favorite. And in it, there... What are they doing now?
They're in the kitchen
They're in the
now.
walls. Butters, the character, is asked, like, everyone else is playing World of Warcraft, but he's not. And he says, oh, sorry, guys, I've been playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which, as far as I'm aware, was not a game at that point.
Oh.
And now there is a game called Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if there's any merit to that at all, but that's been something that's going around online. That maybe in a sort of Simpsons-esque situation,
Yeah.
South Park predicted.
Or literally the owners of Hello Kitty brand, the Hello Kitty company, I presume,
Big fans of
decided
South Park.
maybe we should make that.
Maybe that's a good name for a game.
I'm kind of surprised it's not for you though, Ashton. Not because it's Hello Kitty. I don't think you're a girl, Hello Kitty. But it just the gameplay looked kind of.
It's just like the same as there's
Just-
so
yeah,
many
so
games
many
that's
others.
so
You can't play
similar.
them all.
Yeah.
Oh, they're hoovering.
The
now, I
hoovering,
think,
I don't know what's going on. Next up, we had Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sport. It's like Switch Sports, only you can play as Bugs Bunny in that. It has 4 arcade-style sport mini games, including soccer and basketball. I think you mean football. Yeah, then it's Looney Tunes. It's coming in fall.
I thought this looked graphically very unimpressive.
Yeah,
It
it wasn't
looked
a very good
like
looking
2
game.
generations old. I thought it was just a re-release at first, but I don't think it is. It's a new game, isn't it?
I think it is a new game, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to do a sort of multiverses. You're right, you're just enjoying it's
Are they
almost
hoovering the actual walls?
it sounds like it's scraping along the wall, doesn't it?
Why is it happening now?
They're just PlayStation fans.
Yeah.
They're talking about Nintendo and they're trying to ruin it for us. Amogus is getting a free update with new crewmate and imposter roles like the tracker, which plants trackers, or an imposter, which plants imposters.
I kind of want to go back into playing Among Us. I've
I
not played
never
it in
played it.
ages.
Never
I've played it a lot over
Among
the
Us.
pandemic and not played it a lot, but I always really enjoyed it. So
Stop it.
she'll go,
Stop
Brian.
doing that.
Please,
Oh,
hurry.
Oh, is it my go?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's hard to concentrate, isn't it?
Farmagia. How was this pronounced?
Farmagia.
Farmagia.
It was a hard
This had
G.
so many squoojles, like
Felicia
big, like
Dad
fantasy.
is a realm. Yeah, it was.
Magus, and they said
dropped
Magus
like
loads.
5 squoojles in the first
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah, Felice Navidad is a realm of monsters where a guy named Ten needs to take on a big army. The game is a farming simulator where you raise monsters to help you battle. Farmagia is coming to Nintendo Switch on November 1st.
This looked awful.
Looked
Made
a
me
bit
a bit
like Monster
uncomfortable as
Rancher.
well. In Monster Rancher, a bit Pal World as well.
Yeah.
That you could get your little
It
monsters to help.
didn't look
But
like
they
it was
planted
running
the
very
wolves.
well. Yeah.
Like there was a wolf plant and
Yeah.
it just had the tails coming off as
Yeah, I
crops
didn't
and then
like
it turned
it.
into. Oh, I didn't like that. It was
No.
a bit weird.
Donkey Kong Country returns in HD.
Hooray.
It's coming to Switch on January 16th.
Yes.
Looks good.
Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake and more. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake will be coming to Nintendo Switch on the 14th of November, bringing the classic game to modern consoles. Remakes of Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 in HD 2D form will come in 2025. When I saw this, I thought, why are they doing the third one first? But then the man literally explained seconds later that canonically that one takes place first.
Yeah.
And then it's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I like the HD 2D.
HD2D needs a different name.
It does.
It's a terrible name
Yeah.
for a genre. Anyway.
Funko Fusion. 1010 Games showed us Funko Fusion, which we sort of knew about in the lead up to this, I think.
We had a trailer for it at Game Awards.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
All right.
Known
I knew
about
that
it for a
people were
while.
aware of it. I didn't know if we'd actually seen a trailer yet. I couldn't remember. But it's an action adventure game where you play as Funko characters, all set in different shows and movies like Jurassic Park. It'll come to Nintendo Switch on September the 13th and looks a bit ropey.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
also doesn't look very good, does it?
No, it's giving Lego game But it's kind
We
of
have
it's
Lego
a
game at
real
home.
random assortment of characters and places and
Yeah.
stuff. So we'll see. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD
Hey,
is coming June 27th.
very soon. Now, a game of the show, the new Demper Men.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're here. The new Demper Men looks like a weird version of Animal Crossing with mini games. It's coming on July the 27th.
That's
on
my
Nintendo's-
birthday.
Nintendo-
It's coming on my
Happy
birthday. It's my
Ashton.
birthday
The new
game.
knock knock. It's Jesus. I thought that was someone actually
it was
knocking.
my phone, but I don't know
Can't
how.
reach it.
That's all right.
The new Demper Men are here. Happy birthday,
I thought they
Ashton.
knocked something off the wall.
Yeah, so did
Well,
I.
it knocked and then my phone fell like a ghost, so that was weird.
Open up, Ashton. It's the new
Let me
Demper
in.
Men. They look like it looked horrible. I mean, they look like me's.
Yeah.
It's stuffed inside a Teletubby.
Really, really weird.
Yeah.
But also, I was like, that looks kind of amazing.
Does
I
look
kind
kind
of
of
want to
fun.
try the new Demper Men.
Yeah.
It's such a weird name, isn't it?
Yeah.
The new Demper Man.
Where have they gone?
Metal Slug Attack Reloaded is coming to Nintendo Switch on Tuesday. Surprise! That's what the notes say.
Surprise.
Surprise! So if
Uh,
you like guns,
Yeah.
that's available soon.
Darkest Dungeon 2, the Gothic roguelike role-playing game, is getting a sequel. It's coming to Nintendo Switch on July 15th.
One of the comments under this article correctly points out that that's a bit of a misleading description because it is actually already out. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a Nintendo Switch port. That makes
Yeah.
it sound like it's just been announced,
Yeah.
but it has been out for some time. A big Nintendo Switch Online update: The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords, Metroid Zero Mission, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and Perfect Dark are now out on Nintendo Switch Online and expansion today. You'll be able to play 4 Swords online with friends for the first time too. Metroid, not Metroid, Perfect Dark also has online, but apparently it is absolutely busted.
Yeah, and if you spin too fast using the motion blur, you just become.
Oh, yeah,
You just
that's
enter
right.
the void.
Breaks the game.
Yeah.
I think someone, maybe Nintendo Life, posted about it. We'll stick a link in the link dump. That a well-known, someone who's very familiar with how this stuff all works, emulators and so on, said that it feels like an emulator from 7 years ago is running it, and you'd be better off just playing the PC version. It's just not. It's not very
Right.
good. Having lots of issues running it, which is such a shame.
I've always wanted to play Turok, actually, so yeah, that's a shame. Hopefully that's a bit better. I don't know. Phantom Brave the Lost Hero. Marona is on a journey to save her friend Ash in Phantom Brave the Lost Hero, which looks super cute, says the article, and is coming to Nintendo Switch in 2025. Can't remember which one that one even was.
Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. 7 whole games are coming as one collection.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that there's some side-scrolling beat-em-ups in there as well as the one-on-one fighting games. That's nice. Super Mario Party Jamboree.
I am gassed.
New game. Super Mario Party Jamboree has a whole bunch of new boards and tons of mini games, including a board set in a mall and another on a race course. 5 new board games and 2 from previous games are available in total. Up to 20 players can compete online too in new modes. It's the biggest Mario Party yet, Nintendo said. It's coming on the 17th of October to Nintendo Switch.
I love Mario Party. Don't get to play it enough, and I'm very excited there's a new one coming out.
Nice.
Can't wait to play with my pals.
It did look good. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Finally, a game where you play as the girl, Link, from
Yes,
the
I was going to say Zelda's
games.
the boy, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So you play as Zelda herself. It's a hang on. In the Echoes of Wisdom, a stylized Link's Awakening-like version of the franchise, Zelda takes on her own adventure. When Link vanishes, Zelda needs to step in to save the day. It's coming September 26th.
Her power is tables.
Yeah.
She picks
I
up
like it.
table and makes table appear in other places.
Looks cool. I like the art style. I think it's a fun new twist. They said in the interview that they're actively trying to change up or do something different in terms of combat and things. And yeah, looks interesting.
It's nice to see as well that the success of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild hasn't completely pushed aside all the other interesting styles and gameplay types they've done over the years. You know, they're not saying like all we're doing now is big open worlds, third person action adventure. There's still room for this stuff.
Absolutely.
And they're making a Hyrule edition of the Nintendo Switch Lite. It's got the Hyrule
Yes,
crest on it, and
looks
it
lovely.
is gold. It's coming in September.
Don't tell Andrew from
26th.
Cultaholic that, or he'll buy it.
Yeah.
Remember what happened at your Eurogamer party a couple of years ago?
My Eurogamer party.
Eurogamer.
Eurovision
Jesus, Eurovision party.
Yeah. He got
Games on the
a
brain.
little bit tipsy,
Mm-hmm.
past tipsy perhaps, and ended up spending about £400 in the taxi on the way home on, was it a new Switch?
It was the Switch OLED, but
OLED,
like the
yeah,
Tears
yeah,
of
yeah.
the Kingdom
Yeah.
OLEDs, and then he couldn't cancel it, and he had
to just have it.
Yeah. Anyway, Just Dance 2025. It's back. Ariana Grande, Enna. What's that? Who's that?
And
Sia.
yeah, we know
And
that
more
one.
artists will come to Just Dance 2025 with lots of new dances, maybe Douglasing as well, and challenges to take on. Hundreds of songs in total. It's coming in October.
When we went to Insomnia, there was like a little Just Dance booth where they were doing like performances, and it made me really want to play Just Dance. So maybe I'll get this one and I'll spend an evening just shaking my ass per se.
To all of the Enna hits.
To
To all
Enna, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What you can also get excited for and shake your ass to, Ashton, is Lego Horizon Adventures, which is coming to Switch.
Yeah.
It's first announced during Summer Game
We did know it was
Fest.
coming to Switch.
We did.
And it's coming this holiday season, Nintendo said. I didn't spot it was coming to Switch, actually.
It's still kind of mad to see it
Yeah.
at a direct, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Stray, that game that came out ages ago,
Stray.
is finally coming to Nintendo Switch this holiday season.
Yep. Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. Live as a hobbit in Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. It's basically a life sim set in the Lord of the Rings world, and it looks lovely.
I'd be more inclined to play this game than the Hello Kitty game.
It's
and I
coming to
didn't even
Nintendo
like
Switch this
Lord of the
holiday
Rings.
season. Yeah, it does look nice. I've
It
heard
look
some
nice.
people say it looks a bit rough around the
It
edges.
does look a little bit ropey, but
But if you can do, just like we were talking about with Ubisoft games earlier, farming and Animal Crossing games are a dime a dozen. But if Lord of the Rings is a strong enough IP to carry it for you, then
It's a good
There you go.
idea, I think, because Lord of the Rings, everything else we've ever seen from Lord of the Rings is set in, there's Mordor and there's the Sauron Eye and there are goblins everywhere. You might get attacked by goblins in this occasionally, but to actually just set something in the first 15 minutes of the film,
yeah,
first
with
the
film,
no
nicest
threats.
place.
lovely. Everyone's
Yeah.
having a really nice time. It's like, remember that nice bit from the beginning? There's a whole game now.
whole game.
So yeah, it's an interesting take, I think. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. 2 Ace Attorney games are coming to Nintendo Switch as a single collection. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection is the name of it. It'll be released on Nintendo Switch on September the 6th.
The 100-line Last Defense Academy. I'll tell you what this is. This is a game set in a school where there's 100 people stuck in this weird paranormal school, and there's waves and waves of enemies coming. People will die, and you've got little goblins you can send out to defend your town or school. It's coming early 2025, and Polygon says they may look cute, but the enemies may look cute, but they are also deadly.
Whoa. This is from the Dangon Romper people as well. If that means something to viewers / listeners of this, you'll know sort of what you're in store for.
Yes.
What is where are we?
Romancing.
Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven. Rule and Expand is the name of the game in Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven. The turn-based battles are flashy and strategic, and the game is coming October the 24th.
And arguably the biggest reveal of the show, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Metroid Prime 4 was first announced in 2017, but it's been a long time since we've heard anything else. This is the first look, and Nintendo is not expecting its release until 2025. Development had to be restarted in 2019 under Retro Studios.
I am not a fan of Metroid not in the sense that I dislike them, in the sense that I've never really played them before. The Prime series has a huge following and is held in very high regard. And I personally, while I was looking at it as a non-fan of Metroid and thought, that looks, nothing there blew me away specifically. I'm just really excited that we've got a shooter as like a big first-party flagship title, because it feels like, and this is going to sound strange, first-person shooters are sort of an underserved genre at the moment.
I think that's true, yeah.
I know there's a million shooters out there, but they're all like Hero or 5v5 or something, or just online or
It's not very
free to
often
play.
you get a single-player first person.
Exactly. We don't really get single-player shooters anymore, and as a fan of that genre, I intend to give this a go as my first Metroid.
That's what I thought about Perfect Dark as well. Not in this show, the old version, but I mean the
Xbox.
remake that we've saw at Xbox. I think as well as people just being excited for Perfect Dark, I think it's just nice to see a first-person shooter that will presumably have a really interesting single-player campaign. Because you're right, I think it is underserved at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashton?
I concur.
Excellent. This has been such a long time coming, and I'm really, really happy for Metroid fans that they finally got to see it. And even though we don't have a specific release date, that's something.
It's nice to see that it's
nice
still
to have
happening.
seen
Yeah.
it. I have 2 questions for you guys. The first is, what did you think of the Direct overall?
It was fine.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think that like there's a bunch in there that is so something for everyone, if you will.
Yeah.
And there was stuff in there that I think is interesting for the cozy Switch gamer. There's stuff in there if you're a fan of a JRPG or 12, and some like other games coming to the Switch. I think it's really funny when you see like Stray's coming to the Switch, because like that game's been out for ages. I didn't even realize it wasn't on the Switch yet. So that I was more surprised that it wasn't on the Switch more than it was coming to the Switch. But yeah, I think it was good. They got through everything quickly. We weren't really faffing about, so that's nice. But yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I think it is good to see the occasional pops of interesting and unique ideas, because you still have that sense, certainly from the outside, if you're not a fan of one of these certain franchises, that there is this kind of homogenous big ball of Switch, nice, farmy, Japanese things that I even find I find difficult to tell apart, having watched the showcase and read notes just now. But to then within that have, Metroid, and it kind of even within the farmy kind of world, you have like a couple of what I would say USPs. Like to have a Lord of the Rings one kind of sets that one apart from some of the others, and so yeah, I think that was the best thing about it, is that it was more of the same that we see year on year, but with a few like properly unique and interesting things coming out of that as well.
I thought it was pretty good. There were definitely a number of things that I wasn't interested in at all. If you only play first-party Nintendo games, there were a lot there, even if some of them were re-releases or remakes and so on. And it definitely did its job of highlighting clearly the games that are coming to Nintendo Switch for the rest of the year, and slightly further beyond that as well. So I think it was a really quite a strong one, a solid Nintendo Direct.
We have a lot that they announced to come this year, which is nice, because that was kind of one of the issues we had with the Xbox showcase, was that it was a lot of stuff like coming next year at some point, whereas
And PlayStation's is even worse.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And they've just said they're not going to be at Gamescom as well.
Yeah, again, which is annoying. My second question is, could this be the final Nintendo Direct that focuses on the Nintendo Switch 1, for want of a better term?
Well, I think a lot of these games will end up being for the Switch 2. I think that, without saying coming to the Switch 2,
anything that's 2025.
anything that's 2025, I'm almost certain is for the Switch 2. So
Probably
I think
on both, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I think that we'll see a lot of these coming to the Switch 2 as well as the Switch 1.
Yeah.
So I think, this is probably the last time we'll see a showcase that doesn't have the Switch 2 as like the forerunner of it. But I do think that realistically a lot of these games are going to have to also be on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
So.
They were wise to go in ahead of time, having publicly stated, by the way, you will not
No
hear
Switch
about the
2.
Switch successor, because I think I was saying on the day in the office that so often now people go into these shows thinking that a certain thing, hoping that a certain thing is going to be there. And I know you want to have like some big reveals and exciting things. You don't want to just like reveal everything ahead of time, but it probably is worth doing on occasion when people are getting super hyped about a very specific thing, to say, just so you all know, that will not be there. Please don't get too excited. You're not going to see Spider-Man DLC at the next PlayStation or whatever it is that people are starting to build momentum over. So that's wise.
I concur. I think it probably is one of the last. How often do they do Direct? Do we get a few
They normally
a year?
do one in like March, one in the summer for around Summer Game Fest, and normally they do one around Gamescom towards September, October time. So
could it be that one is dedicated to the Switch sequel?
Yeah, well, I
Will
think
be
you probably
one,
will see it around then for release around holiday 2024,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, exciting things to come. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. Let us know what you thought of everything we discussed today. There's a few places you can find us online. Brian is going to kick us off, though.
You can find all of our video content at youtube.com/Team TripleJump and all of our streams, apart from the odd special one, at twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you're paying for a whole bundle of things, including a Twitch sub. You can redeem that against our channel and get all the usual benefits of being a Twitch subscriber without paying anything extra.
Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump. And why not support us on Patreon if you fancy it? Patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
TripleJ.mup is our website. That's triplejU.mp. There you can find links to everything that we do. And why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice for this podcast? It won't cost you anything. And it helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really appreciate it. Just enough time to talk about this week's sponsor once again, which is, of course, Nintendo Dissect, coming soon to a classroom near you. Over 40 animals to
Please
dissect
don't bring your own heart
across
from
a
the shop.
single-hour session.
I've got an ox heart.
No.
Leave it at home, weird boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.